We build giant corporate and government entities powered by vast amounts of personal information and expect them to be transparent machines, making our lives safer and easier.
I made a video before that said a supermodel came forward and said that she was paid to destroy Bill Cosby. So a woman came forward to admit that the entire thing was a frame up against Bill Cosby. Now a man comes forward and says that the entire thing is a frame up against Bill Cosby. So an insider says Bill Cosby was framed to prevent him from buying NBC. Now, before I start, I want to show you or remind you, because I know everybody has a short attention span now in this day and age of the 30-second soundbite, of how many CEOs have stepped down in the past recent few years because they said something against feminism. They said something against the homosexual community. They said something against a transgender, tiny, 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 tiny fraction of people. And the homosexual community is a tiny fraction of people in the United States also, but everybody talks about it as if it was 30% of the population, and it is less than 1%. And the transgender community is less than 1% of 1%. 0.01% of the population of the United States is transgender. Meanwhile, the black community is much larger than that, and you can say whatever you want against the black community. Nothing will happen. And welcome to the Shakaama Live Show with your host, Shakaama. Please like the video. Let's have, try and keep the like ratio to 25 to 30% of the views. So if you happen to be one of the people who comes in and you see that it is under 30%, please like the video. The channel is almost out of the dark ages, or whatever you want to call it, being dead. Now it's I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. And as far as the comments go, I made a video and apparently people did not watch that. YouTube now holds the YouTuber responsible for all the comments. And if the comments are bad, there will be no advertisement on the video. Now, if you all donate to the channel, this is what I keep trying to tell you all. If you all directly support the channel, I won't have to worry about that at all. I can have all sorts of, I can let the comments go, I can let everything go. And I was looking at my quote unquote competition, and they do topics that I can't even dream of covering on this channel. Why? Because they have full support by the people who watch them. Now, I know that a lot of you are actually cross channel watchers. You watch my competition. It's not actually my competition. It's more of the people in the same loop. You know, you can watch more than channel. I mean, you cannot sit unless you want to watch my PewDiePie video over and over. You can watch all of our channels and support all of us. This is where you can get news. An ex-Illuminati member has, anyway, so if you want to support the channel, you can do it two ways. You can go to PayPal, and I'll have a link in the information box. And PayPal is one time, you just pay it, and boom, you're done. And or you can do it on a continuous basis through Patreon, and I'll put a link in the information box. Also, that's at patreon.com/Shakaama. Okay, let's get to this. An ex-Illuminati member has come forward alleging that Bill Cosby was framed with the R-word allegations in order to prevent him from buying TV network NBC. So here's the premise. We're going to so destroy his reputation that he can't become owner. Who else you remember that they destroyed him so much that he could no longer own an NBA team? Let's think about that for a second. What does saying something in private have to do with owning an NBA team? I want you to put on your non-reactionary, your Black Lives Matter, and your non-social justice warrior cap, and I want you to come into the Shakaama channel and put on your intellectual cap, and I want you to tell me Do you agree with the statement? Him having what was the Clippers guy? Him having a private conversation with his half black, half Filipino transgender girlfriend, girl, lover, whatever, sugar baby sugar. I don't know. I don't. I have no idea about those situations. I'm not worldly. I don't know if you all have understood that yet. What? But the intellectual, put your intellectual cap on and tell me, do you agree with this statement? This guy having a private conversation about who this transgender person, I was about to say something politically incorrect. This transgender person bringing black people into the uh, booth at the arena have to do with him actually owning a team. Meanwhile, this guy would have the black players in question invited to his parties and what have you. What does that have to do with him owning the team? It has absolutely nothing to do. But to save face, they had to ostracize the guy. And in fact, when the owners got a chance to speak, they said, "We don't care about that. We care about the media talking about it. That's what we care about. We don't care about that. We don't care about nothing about these Negroes." And once again, that goes back to my statement. You can talk about, you can't talk about anybody, but you can talk about Negroes. Okay, the Illuminati insider said that Bill Cosby had become so much of a threat to the establishment that they had to invent the vilest of accusations against him in order to destroy his career. Who would want to operate under such a burden, especially a person in the public eye? The accusers are women who have worked with the Illuminati in the past and who were paid to wildly state they are all victims of the R word. The spewers of this hate are all fabricators. Moreover, without exception, they are supposed victims of Bill Cosby. Moreover, what extreme hate they are spewing, all under the guise of righteous indignation, all under the protection of the Illuminati, who already control a large portion of the global media from the music industry to television. It should be noted that Whoopi Goldberg has defended Dr. Cosby, asking for hard evidence of the claims. Few, if any, others have done so, upholding the false witnesses or at least showing sympathy, tolerating their claims. All these so called victims are paid large amounts of money to make this wild and outrageous claims that Bill Cosby says ex-Illuminati member. But why? And why make these allegations now? Ex-Illuminati member says Bill Cosby, NBC's biggest star of the 80s, was trying to buy the television network from its current owner, the General Electric Company. Norman Brokaw, the chief executive of the William Morris Agency and Mr. Cosby's personal agent for 30 years, confirmed that he had discussed Mr. Cosby's intention to make an offer for NBC with Robert C. Wright, the network's president. Illuminati leader who controlled NBC would lose power of the television company if Bill Cosby purchased it. The only way to stop the purchase was to ruin Bill Cosby, and they started with fake R word allegations. With no hard evidence, the Illuminati has succeeded in destroying Bill Cosby's image. Only one woman had come forward, a Wilhelmina model, and she admitted being paid to destroy Bill's reputations. That sentence right there, I said it on my live stream. A person came forward on my Twitter and said, a much larger Twitter person or social media person than I am, came forward and introduced themselves, followed me, and then started messaging me and tweeting back and forth and so on, and said that they had encountered my Wilhelmina model information. What was it? A couple of years ago? Was it a year ago or a couple of years ago? It was by now it's a couple of years ago. About the Wilhelmina model that came forward and said that she had been paid to destroy Bill Cosby. This person, whom I don't know on Twitter, said that they lived next door to either Bill Cosby or his lawyer. That they saw the video that I had made about the Wilhelmina model, and that they then vetted the information and found out that the information was in fact true. And now that video is coming up again, and that they then took that video information, they did some of their own research, put it into a file folder, went jumped the wall, and handed it to the lawyer of Bill Cosby. The Cosby team then tried to contact that person and said that would they come forward and give more information. So my video actually helped out. And I was going to offer to Cosby's teams that I could clerk for them if they so chose. I clerked for the Louisiana Law Institute of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, while in law school, and some of my reports actually made it into law. That's how it works, right? So I'm gonna put a link to that video about the Wilhelmina model in the in this video. So there you have it. Ex-Illuminati member man comes forward and says that in fact this was all a frame up. This everything from beginning to end was all a frame up to destroy Dr. Cosby and his reputation. Now they are forcing people to take awards away from him. Eddie Murphy went to the Emmys and said, "Thank you for the Emmy. Are you all going to take Dr. Cosby's Emmy away from him?" I mean, he said, "Is there something that a black man can do to get you to take away an award for his actual performance? It doesn't seem logical that you would take away an award for a performance, which has nothing to do with reputation, nothing to do with anything outside of the venue that they're talking about." What was it, Temple University recently, after the mistrial was declared, took away his laurels from the university, which is so literally they're under some sort of pressure from some group where the group finally got to them. Now, I think the whole mistrial thing apparently didn't weigh on them, and Eddie Murphy said the same thing. He said it seems kind of strange that they would take away the laurels after it was declared a mistrial. If anything, a mistrial should indicate that there was no proof of anything. That's the whole point of something being declared a mistrial, because the jury cannot say categorically, yes, this man is guilty, right? Thank you for watching. Please like this video. If you can donate to keep the channel going, please donate. I uh, I would hope that the people with money can actually help to donate. Thank you.